सर हमने उसको
ହେଲା ଏବେ ଶୁଣାଗଲା
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
Yes, sir.
ଶୁଣାଗଲା
Yes, sir. Yes.
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଠିକ ଅଛି ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଏବେ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବି ହାଉ ମେନି ଆର୍ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ
16 sir now
24, sir.
how many have been present
24, sir.
24 very good so now let me tell you I just see here the persons are like Shubhasri, Sagara, Somodatta, Jasasri, Suraj, like this. 24, but I see only 6 to 7.
yes sir
But 24, you are saying they are not present here probably, or they are not visible.
One
Anyway,
screen can share only 8 people, sir. So
uh,
you need to shuffle the screen, sir.
I don't know the technique. That's right.
हाँ गोटे स्क्रीन रे खाली 8 जण जणा पडुचंती
Oh, then how would I call also jana padibe nue?
बोधे
Anyway, I don't know. Are you all able to see me?
yes sir yes
Okay,
yes
good.
sir
yes sir
Okay, good. So now I will tell, my name is Pastor Mahapatra, Sadasiv Mahapatra.
yes sir
Maybe none of you have seen me also. Have you all seen me? No.
yes sir I have seen you
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is
sir.
it in your class?
sir you have taken my practical class in graduation
Oh, graduation. Where?
yes.
Here, IGNOU?
In IGNOU
Okay, then I have forgotten. Anyway, it's good that many of you known in other way also. So today I will tell you about research methods, research methodology. This is the most difficult portion of your topics because here you have to go to methodology. In future, in your master course, you will do your project, you will do your practicums. So at many places you require the knowledge of methodology, how to do research, what should be the right way of doing that, and what is the purpose of this, and by doing research, how can you help the society, and how can you make new theory building, all the applicability, and how can you generalize. So everything you should know from this chapter, that is research methodology. So here I will have to take 4 classes. Today is the first class, and in all the 4 classes I have to complete this big chapter or big portion, which is very difficult also. Ordinarily in your college, usually in your degree colleges or other master courses also, not IGNOU, you find this portion would take minimum 7 to 8 classes, what I am going to teach. But I have been asked to tell you all 4 classes. So now I will tell you here very susceptible, very briefly, I can say, I can describe all these portions of the chapters. So first I will tell you what is research. What do you mean by research? Why should you do research? So research, as you know, is the combination of word re plus search. So re plus search, this means, so here something wrong happened. So here the research are you able to get me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yes. Are you promptly respond to me because I am not able to do all these electronics handling. I have the poor problems in managing these electronic devices. So tell me when I ask you whether you hear me or not, because I will be
Yes.
having problems. So now I told you about I told some lines. Are you all clearly hearing?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Complete.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. So by that I want to mean that research means to research, to search again. What you really want to search? So research means to get new information, to get new idea, and where you want to know or you want to get new knowledge. Basically, in our society where you are living, you find you people are not same or similar in all the ways. Individuals differ in their dress, in their choice, in their needs, in their thoughts, in their intelligence, in their biological makeup. So everywhere you find individual difference. And now there is a question, why he like this? Why I am like this? Why I am different from other people? So all these things are creating a type of query in our mind. And we want to know what's the reason for this difference. Or also we can see something like this, why this happens? Why this doesn't happen? So these questions always keeps in our mind and we want to know the reasons for all these things. And these things are met with or settled with research objectives. So now through research, we discover the truth. Even if we have done something, we are again doing it to confirm something. Research, again, we have done it, we have got some idea, somebody told something, but we want to prove it. And we want to scientifically verify this. And the research, again, you are going to do that. Again, you are going to get the ideas, get the knowledge to substantiate the truth. So, research is a process through which we acquire knowledge, we try to verify the truth. And here, through research, we want to say what is the cause, what is the effect. Or through research, we can say if somebody differs, why. This question, why, is answered through research. So, research gives answer to all the queries in your mind. So, now we can go to research, and research actually goes in two ways. So, in the context of discovery, when you want to discover something, we're going to research, I mean, to acquiring knowledge. So, getting new idea, getting new knowledge, that's the context of discovery. And something also there is context of justification. This is right or wrong. That is, when to justify, is justified or not justified. That also we go through research. So in research, we have broadly two categories. One is context of discovery. When you want to discover the truth, something like exploring. And the other is, that is context of justification, where we test the hypothesis and we say it's right or wrong. So now, the research as such is broadly acquiring knowledge and also to verify the truth, to say what is right and what is wrong. So this way, the research helps us to settle our queries. Right? Are you all getting it?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
do you cope with my speed of talking, or should I be slow?
No,
It is
sir.
fine, sir.
I'm a little fast.
It is comfortable, sir, actually.
Comfortable? Good. Thank you. Acha. So, may I know your name? It is Suraj or what?
Somadatta, sir.
Somadatta. Good. Right. Very good. Thank you, Somadatta. If you are comfortable. And now see, I'm going to tell you the research. What is the definition of research? What is the meaning of research? So as I told you, so in the dictionary meaning of research, we find research. Re is a prefix, means again. That is try to get again. Or you can say research, as per the meaning in dictionary, is something to get new or trying to get again and again, like that. And here, but the scientific research is very different. So research as such is to research means that is here a new or over again, or you can say something new try. You try in a new way. But in a scientific research, it is systematic and objective attempt to provide answers to certain questions. So now research, as you know, simply you can say it is to get some information. We are going again and again, or searching again and again to get new and new information. But scientifically, research means it is systematic and objective attempt to say what is right and what is wrong. So here, in our social science, the research is defined as a manipulation of generalizing to extend, connect, or verify knowledge. And here, manipulation incorporates experimentation adopted for the purpose of arriving generalization. So here, in social science, again, I'm going to explain this. In social science, research is defined as a way to manipulate things or to get the knowledge, to manipulate the knowledge or to use the knowledge for generalization. In the social science, we want to generalize something through some information that we get from research. So here, research all the way helps us in theory building, in generalization, and in your social science. Basically, we are very much using research to generalize things or generalize the information we get from the findings. And the term research as such refers to the systematic method consisting of a problem, formulating a hypothesis, collecting data, analyzing the data, and reaching a conclusion. And from the conclusion, we generalize. So the conclusion is the truth that we get from the research. And that truth we get, that finding we get, we generalize. Now the question is a simple thing. For example, a science, a, s- a scientific research. I'm going to tell you about water.
वो सब्जी लोग फ्रिज में रख दे डब्बे के साथ
What else? Yes, somebody's who's telling something. Okay, anybody want to tell you? Tell me. Anybody wants to tell me anything?
No, sir.
Somebody had to say whisper, therefore telling. Anyway, so here, suppose you say water. Water, as you know, it is a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. So now you see, when you mix hydrogen and oxygen, you get water. So now, by mixing these two elements, we get a compound water, and now you can generalize that hydrogen and oxygen, when they're added, we get water. That is you are getting in science, a pure scientific experiment. So now you see, simply in that way, in social science, we can say that for this and this, when they are mixed up, or when this and this, they are having their effects, they get the result in like that. For example, now you see, suppose when you are reading in a classroom, when you get appreciation from teacher, the teacher appreciates you, the teacher gives you incentives, or when you find all your friends, peers, they are very happy with you, or they encourage you, then you are reading well. Now see these factors, now when they are mixing up, that is increasing your reading skill. So similarly, we can find these factors are responsible for creating a reading, or creating incentive for reading. So now these views can be generalized. Or you can say the reading environment is more important for the student, for their reading ability, or their to read well, or the reading incentive is more important for the student to read in the classroom. So like this, you can say such type of conclusions by such research works in our social sciences. So now the question is, what is the criteria of good research? The good research, the purpose of research should be clearly defined. The good research has the following criteria. Number one, the research should be clearly defined, and the common concepts that are using in the research should be operationally defined. So the concepts we are using in research should be operationally defined. There should be clear concepts. For example, suppose we are doing an experiment on learning, or suppose you are doing a social research on attitude. So the word attitude, the concept attitude should be operationally defined. Or the word learning should be operationally defined. I mean, everyone should know clearly what is learning, what is attitude. So that is the first criteria is in the research, the concepts that we are using in research should be clearly defined. Second, the procedure. The procedure through which we are doing research should be very precise and planned. So precise means not very long. You make the methods, you make the procedure to the point, not very sketchy and very focused. It must be focused and it must be appropriately described. And thirdly, the design. So you must plan the research in such a way that you get the objectivity. Any truth you get, any scientific truth you want to get should be objective. So objectivity means verifiability. So anything can be verifiable, then it is objective. So the research should be having objectivity. So these are the criteria. And also of the design. The design should be such carefully planned or framed, so the results will maintain objectivity. And the fourth one, the research should be possibly very frank enough to gauge the effects of findings. I mean, for the research, you can easily know the effects of the findings you got in research, the result you got in research. You should easily know what is the effect of the result. With this result, what will happen? Or what does it give to society? Or the result of the study, how much speak to the society? Or how it is utilized? How it is useful? And the next one, you can go for data analysis. The research must be, the data you are getting should be very much properly analyzed. And here you see whether the findings are significant or not. And lastly, you also see whether it is having validity or reliability or not. So these things are the criteria of good research. So good research must contain all these 5 criteria. So if these 5 criteria are there in the research, then you can say it's a good research. So now we come to objectives of good research. What are the objectives of good research? So number 1, the first objective of good research is to gain familiarity with any phenomenon, with any idea. We want to be familiar. So through research, we develop insights, and here we, sometimes we make research exploratory. Means you want to get information only. We are going to asking a question. We want to know something. That is exploratory. So that is only to gain familiarity with some idea, some phenomenon. And next is to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual or situation or group that are used in the study. So here, in the descriptive research, so you are here accurately describing the characteristics of any situation or an individual. So you are describing this through research. And thirdly, we determine the frequency with which something is occurring. So here, something we got a result. We know the frequency, with what frequency is occurring. So if it is occurring frequently, then you can say it is a thing to be accepted. For example, diagnostic cases, गोटे रोग होती तो गोटे मेडिसिन देले केते लोक भल हेले माने गोटे गोटे मेडिसिन देल 100 जन पेसेंट तू केते भल हेले फ्रिक्वेंसी केते सपोज 40 जन भल हेले तू कह ये बटिका काम को नुहे 70 भल हेले कह काम करुँची यदि 90 भल हेले कह बहुत भल काम करुँची यदि 95 भल हेले तुम कह 100% भल हो सिग्निफिकेंटली भल हो तो फ्रिक्वेंसी हाउ मेनी एंड लास्टली through this research the last objectivity is to find out a causal relationship गोटे cause effect आमर गोटे रिसर्च रे आम देखो कारण कौन गोटे cause effect ये जिन हूँ cause कौन ये cause effect relationship that we find in the research. That's the last objectivity of research. So through research we get all these 4 objectivity or the 4 things we get through research. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you're having this.
Can we have some examples, sir?
I'm telling yes.
Can we have some example?
Yes, I'm giving. So I have covered criteria of good research. There I've given 5 criteria of good research.
Yes.
Then I came to objectives of good research. In objectives, I told you 4 objectives of good research. And the last objective, you asked me to give an example. Is not it?
Yes.
Yes. Your name, please.
Radha Agrawal, sir.
Oh, Radha Agrawal, I'm getting you. I don't see you here. Anyway, maybe. Okay, Radha, I'm happy to get the question from you. It's a good question. So now see, suppose you want to know a social research
Yes.
like um, attitudes and gender or gender affects on attitudes. You want to study.
Okay.
So now, can we say that gender is a cause for some specific attitudes? It is told that the males are aggressive, but the females are very kind. The males are irritable, but the females are very patient. ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ସେ ପୁଅମାନେ ଟିକେ ଭାରି ରାଗି, ଝିଅମାନେ ଟିକେ ଧୀର ସ୍ଥିର। ପୁଅମାନେ ଟିକେ ଆମେ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛି ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛି ମନେକର ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଆମେ ସବୁ ଶୁଣିଛୁ। ପୁଅମାନେ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ, କ୍ରୋଧୀ, ଯୋଉ ଝିଅମାନେ ଭାରି କ୍ଷମାଶୀଳ ଆମେ ଶୁଣିଛୁ, ହଁ କି ନାହିଁ? କିନ୍ତୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିବା ସତ କି ମିଛ। ତେଣୁ ଆମେ କେତେବେଳେ ପୁଅ ନେଲୁ, କେତେବେଳେ ଝିଅ ନେଲୁ, ତାଙ୍କର ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ ନେଲୁ। ତେଣୁ ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ ଗୋଟେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ରହିଲା ଆମର ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ and compassion by kindness question. ସେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ରେ କାଇଣ୍ଡନେସ୍ ଅଛି, ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭିଟି ଅଛି। ଦେଖିବା ପୁଅମାନେ କେତେ କହିଲେ, ଝିଅମାନେ କେତେ କହିଲେ। ସପୋଜ ଆମେ ପାଇଲୁ ବେଶୀ ପୁଅ କହିଲେ ଆଉ ବେଶୀ ପୁଅ ଦେଖେଇଲେ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ ଟେଣ୍ଡେନ୍ସି, ଆଉ କମ ଝିଅ ଦେଖେଇଲେ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ ଟେଣ୍ଡେନ୍ସି। 10 ଜଣ କେସ୍ ନେଇଛୁ ଆମେ, 10 ପୁଅ 10 ଝିଅ, 10 ଜଣ ପୁଅରୁ 9 ଜଣ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ, 3 ଜଣ ଝିଅ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ, 9 ଜଣ ପୁଅ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ। କିନ୍ତୁ 10 ଜଣ ପୁଅରୁ 2 ଜଣ ହେଲେ କାଇଣ୍ଡ, କିନ୍ତୁ 8 ଜଣ ହେଲେ ଅନକାଇଣ୍ଡ। ଝିଅଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ 9 ଜଣ କାଇଣ୍ଡ, ଜଣେ ଅନକାଇଣ୍ଡ। ଆମେ କ'ଣ ପାଇଲି? ଆମେ ପାଇଲୁ ବେଶୀ ଝିଅ ଦେ ଆର୍ ଭେରି କାଇଣ୍ଡ, କମ୍ପାସନେଟ୍, ଆଣ୍ଡ ବେଶୀ ପୁଅ ଦେ ଆର୍ ଆଗ୍ରେସିଭ, ଇମ୍ପେସେଣ୍ଟ। ଆମେ ପାଇଲୁ। ତେଣୁ ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଯେ ଏଇଠି ଯୋଉ ପଏଣ୍ଟଟା, ये cause and effect relationship, आमे कहबा gender is a cause or gender is a determinant for this quality, aggressiveness or this kindness. बुझले नहीं?
हाँ.
तेणु एमिति आमे जानी परिबा स्टडी करिकरी गोटे 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 बिहेवियर रो दि कॉज ता कोन। फॉर एग्जांपल आ गोटे कथा तुम कहूची, केतବେଳେ ଅଛି ଜେଣ୍ଡର ସେନ୍ସିଟିଭିଟି ଇସ୍ୟୁ। କେତେବେଳେ ଜାଗାରେ ପୁଅମାନେ ଦେଖିବ, ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ପୁଅମାନେ ଭାରି ଫ୍ରି, ଝିଅମାନେ ଚାହିଁଲେ ବି ଫ୍ରି ପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ। ୟୁଜିଂ ସମ୍ ୱାର୍ଡସ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ, ପୁଅମାନେ କହିଦେଇ ପାରିବେ ଫ୍ରିଲି ଆଇ ଲଭ୍ ୟୁ ଭେରି ମଚ୍, କିନ୍ତୁ ଝିଅମାନେ କହିପାରିବେନି। ଦେ ଲଭ୍ ଭେରି ମଚ୍, ଦେ କ୍ୟାନଟ୍ ସେ। ତେଣୁ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ୱାର୍ଡ ଅଛି, କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ସିନ୍ ଅଛି, କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ ଅଛି ଯୋଉଠିକି ଝିଅମାନେ ଫ୍ରି ହେଇପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ। ଇଭନ୍ ଇଫ୍ ଦେ ଆର୍ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଇନ୍ ଦେୟାର ମାଇଣ୍ଡ, ଦେ ଆର୍ ମୋର୍ କନସର୍ନ, ଦେ ନୋ ମୋର୍ ଆବାଉଟ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍, ବଟ୍ ଦେ ଆର୍ ନଟ୍ ଏବୁଲ୍ ଟୁ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ୍। ତ ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଯେ ଜେଣ୍ଡର ଇଜ୍ ଏ କଜ୍। ସୋ ଏବାଉଟ୍ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସନ୍, ଏବାଉଟ୍ ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ୍, ଏବାଉଟ୍ ଆପ୍ଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ୍, ଏବାଉଟ୍ ଆଚିଭମେଣ୍ଟ, ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଯେ ଜେଣ୍ଡର ହାଜ୍ ସମ୍ ଏଫେକ୍ଟ ଅଲସୋ। ତେଣୁ ଆମର ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚରେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରିବା ଏ ଯୋଉ କଜ୍ ଏଫେକ୍ଟ ରିଲେସନସିପ୍, ରାଇଟ୍? Are you able to free? Are you getting it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So next you come to qualities of a good research. How can you say that research is a good one? Number one, the good research is systematic. Systematic means it is structured according to rules and the steps are specified. So here we go step by step. That is systematic. So here we avoid guessing. We just avoid intuition. We get something through our efforts and reach a conclusion. So you go step by step. to reach a valid objective conclusion. That is good research. It is systematic. Second thing is the research is empirical. Empirical means we get the data like cause effects. So here we can say that the conclusion is done by getting some information. We got some information through our life experiences or our observations, then you make a conclusion. So conclusion is made depending or basing upon some observation. The observation cannot be guessed. It must be basing on some observation. That is empirical. So empirical means anything basing on observation. We cannot just say something on speculating. You can't speculate. You can't say, you can't guess. Whatever you say, it must be basing on observation.
Observation.
So that is observation means it's empirical, right?
Yes.
So empirical truth means when it is observed.
Hmm.
But somebody not observing saying, for example, astrological things, astrological predictions, लोक हाथ देखी कहीदेवे कि तुमको देखी कहीदेवे तुम या होची इसु गुड़ाक एम्पिरिकल नुहे बुझ कि नहीं एम्पिरिकल होची तुम जोटा कि तुम देखिपारे ऑब्जर्व करिपारे ऑब्जेक्टिविटी थिबो राइट सो नेक्स्ट इज valid and verifiable. The research involves precise observation and accurate description, and this means there are some valid references. And here you use statistics and you use statistical measure to analyze the facts also. So we are having a finding. The finding is a correct on the basis of finding. On the basis of finding, you are going to give it truth. And the finding, here the finding, if it is correct, it can be verifiable. So the research must be valid. Valid means it must be statistically significant or statistically accepted. And it must be verifiable. Verifiable means, so you can repeat it, but the same thing you are get. You can verify this. So this thing you can verify because it is valid. Right?
Yes.
And next is, research is logical. Logical means we can say that the rule of reasoning. So you can say if it is this, it can be this. So here you can say the logical reasoning means feasibility. In the case of decision making, so you make a decision. You say if this is the cause, this will be the result. So there will be a logical sequence. So here, it's logical means the question of induction, general to specific. You got some information, then you can get some specific information, specific conclusion. So the conclusion you get is logical. So these are the things. So if these are the things, this will be like this. That is logical. So here, the conclusion must be basing on facts, so that you can say it logical. And the last one is,
Sir, got a doubt अच्छे sir.
कहा
Sir, आपने कहले sir, good research is logical sir. Sir, माने sir
Yes,
process भी logical है बगता और outcome भी logical है बगता.
right.
Sir, यदि process logical
तुम्हारा
follow
सुनो.
करला ପରେ भी sir outcome टा sir हमको logical न लगले sir then
Right. It's a very good question. So now you see, the process is logical. Process means you go step by step. Right?
Sir.
Suppose you have taken some subjects, I mean some people on whom you are doing research.
sir.
That is sample. Whether you are taking a good sample or bad sample.
Sir.
And again, if you have taken a sample, whether you have controlled the age, controlled the SCS, controlled the education, whether the variables are controlled or not. These are logical. If you go this way, the sequence steps are logically you are building up step by step, and you get a result, then you say the result is a logical conclusion.
Sir.
And even if suppose you get all these things and the result is not coming up, to your expectation.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you suppose I told you earlier that boys are aggressive, girls are very pardoning, forgiving. But in the result, you found the reverse. The boys are very forgiving, the girls are aggressive.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you found. But now the question is, whether can you say it's logical? But now you have to see whether the steps have been logically correct or not. The steps have been built up logically, then the result must be as per the findings. Even
से
if
केस में सर हमें सैंपल सिलेक्शन को भी सर चेक करियो सर.
here we are taking some hypothesis.
Yes, sir.
I will come to later to the hypothesis.
Sir, sir.
This particular question I can explain through hypothesis in the next chapter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
It's a very good question. So you just remember this, and the next point when I discuss hypothesis, we will again discuss, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So research is last point replicable. So here actually research is it develops theories and principles. The research findings, they are actually helping you for theory building. In research, you get some findings. From the findings, the theories are built up. Theories, principles are built up. So the principles, for example, तो पिलाने पढ़ी सब पिलाने development रे development is from general to specific, or development follows a pattern, or development is continuous. ଆମେ ପଢିଛି ଆମେ ସବୁ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ଜାଣିଲୁ ଆମେ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସ୍ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କେମିତି ଜାଣିଲୁ ଆମେ ଦେଖିଲୁ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କଲୁ ତାପରେ ୱି କୋରିଲେଟେଡ୍ ପ୍ରତି ପିଲାଙ୍କର ଦେଖିକି ତାକୁ କୋରିଲେଟେଡ୍ ଦେନ୍ ୟୁ ଲଜିକାଲି ଫାଉଣ୍ଡ ଏ କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ so then you made a principle that development is continuous or development follows a pattern. Similarly ଆମେ theory କଲୁ डेवलपमेंट आम देखु डेवलपमेंट जो होची गोटे पेरेंट्स भाया पिला सब होनी अलग हो तेणु पेरेंट्स भाया पिला हवा कथा कहीं हो मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ द एनवायरनमेंट वेयर इज बीइंग ब्रॉट अप बापा माँ मगर पिला बेलू पिला छाड़देले गोटे हॉस्टेल रे स्कूल रे पिला चलला आउ ना पियर ग्रुप पाखे तेणु बापा हम केमी तेणु यही जो जिनिस जो होमर जो गोटे पिलार बिहेवियर एटा केमी या ओनली इट इज बिकज जेनेटिकली कंट्रोल और कंट्रोल थ्रू एनवायरनमेंट आम कहूँ गोटे जगह माने भाटर पिला भाट स्टार्टर पिला चाटे आम गोटे शुणीचु आम आम कहीपर कि बापा माँ धारा ज्ञानी बहुत पंडित पिला पंडित हे बोली
नहीं
No, sir.
कथा genetically there is all reasons but may not be possible because the environment is different. Even if genetically there are other factors operating, biological factors also. Bapa ma bahut dekhiya pi baro suppose fair they are fair in their skin, can you say the child will be 100% fair also? No, there may be other reasons. So many type of suppose if the children are born here in India, children are the same parents, children are born in Africa, born in Netherlands or in cold climates, the climate has effects. Even if through generation the parents' color may not reflect on the child, it may be the color of the grandparents, great grandparents, or so many things. So here when you make a conclusion, so if you get evidence only, supporting evidence, we can go for a theory. So now you say that one's behavior is HE. H means heredity and environment. So how the child is being, his intelligence, his learning capacity or his behavior is a product of heredity, what he has inherited, and environment, where he has been brought up. That is theoretical building. So this finding or this theory has been corroborated by the findings in studies. So in research, we find some evidence, and that evidence leads to build theories and principles. So now here, good research helps us to develop new theories and new principles. आम जो लर्निंग थ्योरी अच्छी ट्रायल एंड एरर लर्निंग तो जानी इफ यू रिपीट दी प्रैक्टिस द लर्निंग विल बी बेटर. सो नाउ यू ट्राइड यू लर्न अगेन एंड अगेन सेम थिंग. गोटे पर्टिकुलर पाठ को गोटे पेज को तुम घरे बसिक 10 थर पढ़ देख धीरे 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 तार मुखस्थ होगा सी. ये कौन पाइल तुम्हें दि मोर यू प्रैक्टिस दि मोर यू ऑल्सो acquire, then you can make a theory. That is trial and error learning. If you try more, the error will reduce and learning will be more. Clear? So this research gives you to develop theories. And lastly, the research is replicable. Replicable means this research can be repeated. So if you repeat research, you can get the result, same result again and again. Replicable or it can be repeatable. All right. So I completed the quality of good research.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
So next I come to
Process.
this process, a basic consideration. As you know, in psychology, here the research we are going to do, it is a scientific way of doing research here also. And here we are doing empirical investigation. We observe, we measure and experiment also in the psychological experiments. And the psychological research, as I told you earlier, can be divided in two groups, two categories, two major categories. One is getting an idea, that is getting knowledge, that is the context of discovery. And second is
Testing it.
testing it, not only getting idea. You have got the idea, not testing what is the right or the wrong. That is the context of justification. So two things or two major areas we are dealing in our research process here in psychological research, right? So here, in this process, we are in the context, we are in psychological research, we mainly deal with context of justification,
Testing.
right? Or the we are going to prove something like that. Also, we are having context of discovery, but more the context of justification. So in the context of discovery, we are having the roles of theories, hypotheses, paradigms in psychological research. So now you see the psychological theories. And here the theories are built of informations. And a paradigm is a model. It indicates the function and internal relationship, the way of thinking. The paradigm indicates the way of thinking, the model of thinking. But the theory gives you the amount of information about the concept. And here, to the theories, to the paradigms, to the hypothesis. So hypothesis means we get something, then we ask to ourselves, can it be like this? Will it be like this? It may be like this. It may be like that. These are hypotheses. So hypothesis means prediction. Theory means that is a type of information, group of information or descriptive information. And paradigm is a model, right? A model speaking you, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So now these things we get in psychological theories, the role theories, hypothesis, and paradigm in psychological research. Where are we? So here, actually, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the psychological research as such, as I told you about theory, paradigm, and hypothesis. Then you come to, we are doing research using theories, using paradigm, using hypothesis, and we are going to have some studies also, doing research also. In research, we use theories. In research, we use paradigms. In research, we use hypothesis, and also we get new truth. And now we come to research bias. In research, we have some bias. Sometimes in research, we are going to get a finding, the result. The result may be having bias. So bias means subjectivity. Could you get me? Could you, Soman Datta, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Soman Datta? Okay. And Radha, her name, I forgot. Are you all
Radha.
here?
Yes, sir.
Radha Agrawal, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm right. So, is somebody like Yasmin here? I see a name Yasmin. Is she here? Or not like that? So now I tell you about the bias. It's a very important thing to learn about bias. So bias means subjectivity. So now here in research we have some bias. So one bias is external influence. For example, when you speak about something, your culture also may influence your result. Example, when you say, for example, uh, you say that a person from urban area and rural area, when the answer, how the people who are coming for being tested, so even before getting tested or before the result comes out, what you are expecting? Urban people will do better than the rural people. Is not it? We have not done the
Yes, sir.
experiment. Your expectation here, urban people are better than the rural people. Yes or not?
See,
Yes,
it
sir.
depends on the
Yes, sir.
what is topic of research.
Anything. Suppose in a classroom. In a classroom, we are reading. So there are people from urban area, people from distant areas or remote areas. So what you are expecting? You are saying that urban people
Urban
will
will
be
do better.
better. But is it a fact? So you are saying that is a type of bias in you.
Hmm.
Sometimes also rural people doing better, isn't it? And also I remember one thing when I was a student then, in our days, as you know, I have taught about 50 years to the children, to all the people like you in the master course, to the MA person, MA students, and the graduation. I have almost taught 50 years. And I have got this impression for the students all around. Nowadays, we find mostly students are coming from the English school background.
Yes.
In our days, English schools were not there.
Hmm.
Gradually, English students, English school came, and they were having good speaking power. So all the people were believing they will do better.
Hmm.
And ultimately, we found the people who were not coming from English medium but the Odia medium or the other mediums, they were doing better also in their mathematical skill, their science. So sometimes we believe that this will be better. We believe now. See, for example, British people and Indian people we are comparing. So we are having this uh, pre মানে প্রি কনক্লুজন মানে কনক্লুজন পূর্ব যে থটটা হুয়ে আমি ভাবুছি মানে আইডিয়া বোধে ব্রিটিশ পিপুল উইল ডু বেটার আর আমেরিকান অ্যান্ড ইন্ডিয়ান উই আর বিলিভিং আমেরিকান উইল বি বেটার বাট নট এ ফ্যাক্ট. Not a fact. In America, Indian students are doing better. But now you
Yes.
see, but we have
Sir.
a bias. We have a bias. This bias is created by culture, or this bias created by other factors, right? So these factors, maybe media bias. In media, they are very highlighted. USA highlighted. Media. Even the media people, in the media, the people are highlighted. We feel they are better, but not a fact. But we feel they are better because of bias. And this bias is external influence. Could you get me?
Yes.
Right. So in the classroom also, there are very good students, but they are very silent. But there are some students, even if they are not very good, very talented, but because of their own persuasion or because of their some other factors, they are more attracted by the to the teachers and others, and we are expecting them to do well, even if they are not more brilliant, because of other factors.
Hmm.
So, like social economy starters or other things, their parents are very famous, or they come from very rich families, or they are looking very handsome or very beautiful, or they are having their all this, they are speaking so nicely English. So from this we feel as if they will do better in the class, which is not a fact. That is, here we have a bias, and that bias is external influence. Correct?
Yes.
And the next bias is personal bias. So the personal bias is the bias that is coming from inside. When you're estimating or evaluating something is distorted. Beliefs, your past experience, that distorts. For example, ତମକୁ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ ଆଗରୁ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ ଖରାପ ବ୍ୟବହାର ଦେଖେଇଛି, ଗୋଟେ ରଫ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର ଦେଖେଇଛି, ତମକୁ ଗୋଟେ କିଛି କ'ଣ ଭଲ କହିଲେ ବି ଭାବୁଛ ସେ ଗୋଟେ କ'ଣ ଖରାପ କଥା କହୁଥିବ, କାରଣ ତା ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ ବାୟାସ ହେଇଯାଇଛି। କି ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ତମର ଗୋଟେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ଗୋଟେ ଯେ ମୁଁ ଏମିତି ଏ ବିରାଡ଼ି ଗୋଟେ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ବିରାଡ଼ିଟେ ପଳେଇଲା କ୍ୟାଟ୍ଟେ, ତୁମେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛ? ତୁମେ ଗାଡ଼ିକି ରଖିଦେଉଛ କି ବ୍ୟାକ୍ କରୁଛ, ନୁହେଁ କି? ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଶୁଣିଛ କାହାଠୁ ଗୋଟେ ଯେ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ବିରାଡ଼ି ଗଲେ ଅଡୁଆ ହବ, ନୁହେଁ କି? ତେଣୁ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ପର୍ସନାଲ ବାୟାସ, ରାଇଟ୍? ଇଏ ନୋ ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଫିକ। ନେକ୍ସଟ ବାୟାସ ହେଲା ଅବଜର୍ଭର ବାୟାସ। Other bias means where the bias operates when some events are taken as a meaningful by some and not taken meaningful by others. ମାନେ ତୁମର କ'ଣ ଦେଖୁଛ ସବୁ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ମାନେ ତୁମେ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କଲାବେଳେ ଭାବୁଛ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଂଫୁଲ, କେତେ ଗୋଟେ କିଛି ମିନିଂଫୁଲ ନୁହେଁ। ମାନେ ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମିନିଂଫୁଲ, ତୁମେ ଶୁଣିକିରି କେବଳ ଶୁଣି ଦେଇକି ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ତମେ ବି ସେୟା ତାଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଆଣିଛ। So observer bias here maybe including gender role expectation, or maybe here we are hearing from others, observing from others, or even if when you are raised in one culture or society, we are observing others, then actually we are having a bias. Then expectancy bias. Then here the behavior that is encouraging reaction in you. So the expectancy, when you expect something from somebody, you expect somebody, so you sometimes expect to find something from a person. That is expectancy bias. For example, ତମେ ଭାବୁଛ ଯେ ଏଇଟା ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ one trying to discover something. So here we are going to expect something to find something, some outcomes we are expecting. So when you find something else, even we feel that is the outcome. ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦଉଛି ତମକୁ, ଦେଖ ଆମର କିଏ କରିଥିଲେ ଡିସ୍କଭର କରିଥିଲେ ଆମେରିକା, କଲମ୍ବସ୍। ନୁହେଁ କି? କିନ୍ତୁ କଲମ୍ବସ୍ ଆସିଥିଲେ କୁଆଡ଼େ କି? ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ। ସେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ଆସିଥିଲେ ଟୁ ଡିସ୍କଭର ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ। ତାଙ୍କୁ ସ୍ପେନର ରାଜା ରାଣୀ ତାକୁ ପଠେଇଲେ इंडिया कौन देखिक आस इंडिया बहुत मसला मिले इंडिया हूँ गोटे ड्रीम लैंड सब सीधी भल मिले यू गो डिस्कवर इंडिया सी इंडिया आसी पहुंचे कौटी अमेरिका सी भाविले से इंडिया बोली कौन अमेरिका लोग से कौन कहले इंडियन रेड इंडियन शुण तुम्हें इंडियन से
Yes,
इंडियन
sir.
तो कहला अमेरिका लोक कहला इंडियन रेड इंडियन कारण सी कौन यहाँ हूँ की बायस यहाँ एक्सपेक्टेंसी बायस ही एक्सपेक्टेड आई एम रीचिंग इंडिया even if he got this other land he felt it is India बुझे नहीं so
Yes, sir.
expectancy bias can affect observation of behavior by encouraging reaction to the event being observed तेणु तुम्हारा ताको देखुच your expectancy will give you an outcome in the last finally you are having placebo bias
Sir, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ
So
example
here-
ଦେଇପାରିବି
Hello,
कहो,
sir.
कहो।
Hello, sir. Columbus was to discover route to India or discover India only?
Route
that
to
is-
India.
route to India मतलब India
it doesn't
Route
matter
to India
actually.
India means
Yeah, in this context, it is immaterial.
India does not existed at that time. It means.
No, India is.
कौन? नहीं से इंडिया को तार से बाट जो आसुले से
Sir,
he wanted to come to
Waterways to
India
the India. Waterways to India.
Actually, sir, he wanted to discover waterway to India.
Uh,
The
he-
ways
he-
to path to India.
he was coming to India and even when he was coming to India he was going to get the route to India unfortunately the both storm ହେଲା जहाज भासी गला अन्यआड़े तेणु एते रूट जो कहते रूट माने कौन तार एम थिला टू कम टू इंडिया एनीवे हमरा उठेला फेस प्लेसमेंट बायस इनी प्लेसमेंट बायस होची कोन
Sir, sir,
हां
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ example ଦେଇପାରିବି expectancy bias ପାଇଁ
सुनो कोतरे कोन
The-
तमे कहबो
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଆପଣ
ଶୁଣ,
ଗୋଟେ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ sir.
ଶୁଣ, ମୁଁ
ଆମେରିକା example ଟା ମାନେ relatable ଲାଗିଲାନି
हां
ତ ଠିକ ସେ catch
ତମେ
ହେଇପାରିଲାନି sir.
ଦେଖୁନ ଏ ଲାଇନଟା ଦେଖି ଦିଅ ତୁମେ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କହୁଛି କ'ଣ ସିମ୍ପଲ ଉଦାହରଣ କହୁଛି କାହିଁକି ତୁମକୁ ସହଜ ହବ ଜାଣିବା ପାଇଁ ବୋଲି The expectancy bias can affect observation of behavior by encouraging reactions to the events being observed. Researchers sometimes expect to find specific outcomes. They may see what they expect to see as the main objective. ସେମାନେ ଚାହାନ୍ତି they are expecting to find specific outcomes. They're expecting some outcomes. So
Okay,
here,
sir.
let me call you, they're expecting an outcome, respecting India. So the outcomes are expected. So through the expectation, they say this is this. That's the bias. ଆମେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହୁଛି ଏଇଟା ତୁ ଦେଲି ତୁମକୁ ସିମ୍ପଲ ୱେରେ କହିଦେଲି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ କଥା କଲମ୍ବସ୍ କଥା ତାର ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେସନ ଥିଲା ତେଣୁ ସେ ଯାହା ପାଇଲେ ତାକୁ ସେୟା ଭାବିଲେ ତମେ ଭାବୁନ ତମର ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟଡି ଗୋଟେ ପିଲାକୁ ତୁମେ କହୁଛ ଏଇଟା ତୁ ଏଇଟା କର ଗୋଟେ ଅଙ୍କ ଦେଲ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ କରୁଛି ସେ you are expecting him to do this because he is a good, you are saying that he is a good student, he can do. ସେ କଲା ବେଳେ ତୁମେ ଯାହା କଲା ବେଳେ ବେଳେ କଲା ବେଳେ କୋଉ ଟିକେ ଭୁଲ ଟିକେ କୋଉଠି ରହିଯାଇଛି ଛାଡି ଯାଇଛି କ'ଣ you are ignoring କାରଣ you have expectation bias, you know you are expecting he is a good student. ବୁଝଛ କି ନାହିଁ କିନ୍ତୁ
Yes.
due to some bias ତା ଯଦି ଭୁଲ ରହିଯାଉଛି you are ignoring. ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟଟେ ଦେଖ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଦେଖ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଗୋଟେ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ପିଲାଟେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଫୋର୍ଥ କି ଥାର୍ଡ କି ଫୋର୍ଥ ହଉଛି ଦିହାଙ୍କ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସ୍ପିଚ୍ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଯିଏ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ସ୍ପିଚ୍ ଦଉଛି we having expectation ଏ ବଢିଆ କହିବ ସିଏ କହିଲା ବେଳେ ଯୋଉ ଯାହା ଯାହା ଭୁଲ ହେଇଛି ଆମେ ଇଗ୍ନୋରିଂ ଅନ୍ୟ ପିଲାଟେ କହିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଯାହା ଯାହା ଭୁଲ ଆମେ ତା ଭୁଲ ହେଇଗଲା ଏଇଟା ଭୁଲିଗଲା ହଉନି ତେଣୁ ଆମର ଡ୍ୟୁ ଟୁ ଆମର ଇମ୍ପ୍ରେସନ our expectation this bias operates and this affects the result. ବୁଝୁଛ କି ନା ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now finally the place of bias when people strongly want to believe a treatment is successful ଏଠି କ'ଣ ହଉଛି କ'ଣ ନା So here, ପିଲା ଲୋକ ଭାବନ୍ତି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରିଟମେଣ୍ଟ କରୁଛୁ ଆମେ, it should be successful. It is successful. এটা প্লেসবো bias. The treatment was sugar pill. ଦେଲେ ସେମାନେ, in those cases where the outcomes involve subjective judgment about results, a person feels well or whether the pain has been reduced or relieved. The desire for a drug or therapeutic method to work may be enough to achieve the desired result. ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଶୁଣ, it's very interesting. এটা ପ୍ଲେସବୋ ଏଫେକ୍ଟ. ତୁମର ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହୁଛି ତୁମକୁ, ଦେଖ ଶୁଣ, ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଜିନିଷ. ଓ ଲୋକଟେ ଗୋଟେ ପେସେଣ୍ଟ ଆସିଲା ଡାକ୍ତର ପାଖକୁ, କହିଲା ମୋର ବହୁତ ମୁଣ୍ଡ ବିନ୍ଧୁଛି. ଡାକ୍ତର କହିଲେ ତୁମେ ଏଇ ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନଟା ନେଇଯାଅ. ସେ ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନ ଦେଲା ପରେ ସେ କହିଲେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଇଞ୍ଜେକ୍ସନଟି ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ଦେଲି ଏଇଟା ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟେଡ୍ ହେଇକି ଆସିଛି ବାହାରୁ, ଏଇଟାକୁ ନେଲେ ତୁମର ଏଇଟା ଭଲ ହେଇଯିବ. ଆଚ୍ଛା, ମୁଣ୍ଡ ବିନ୍ଧା ବହୁତ ସମୟରେ ସାଇକୋସୋମାଟିକ, ତେଣୁ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ କଜ୍ ଥାଇପାରେ, ମେ ବି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସ୍, ମେ ବି ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଲାଇକ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍. এটা তো କହିଲେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଆମେରିକାନରୁ ଆଣିଛି, ଏଇ ମେଡିସିନଟା ତୁମେ ଫୋଡ଼ିଦେଲେ ଭଲ ହେଇଯିବ. ସିଏ କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଟାକୁ ଫୋଡ଼ିଲେ ଏଇଟା ମେଡିସିନ ନୁହେଁ, ଡିଷ୍ଟିଲ୍ ୱାଟର କି ଏଇଠି ସୁଗାର ପିଲ୍, ପଟିକା ଦେଲେ ସୁଗାର ପିଲ୍ ଖାଇଦିଅ ଗୋଟେ. ସୋ ନାଉ ସି, ନଟ୍ ଦି ଡ୍ରଗ୍. এই ড্রগটা ভালো করে দেবো, এই যে প্রকার বিলিভ রয়েছে, দ্যাট হেল্পড, নট দি ড্রগ. ইজ নট এ ড্রগ, ইট ইজ প্লেসবো. প্লেসবো মানে ये ड्रग नुहे, ड्रग भलिया जिनिस आम जहाँ कहूँ सीडो ड्रग, जानते कि नहीं? तुमको तुमको
Yes, sir.
तुमको माने मिछरे गोटे ड्रग कहीकि आम ये कहू बटिका खाई दियो, ये जो बाबांकर पानी मंत्र पानी अच्छे पी दियो टिके भल हो, आम कहूनु मंत्र पानी खेले पिला
Yes,
भल,
sir.
लोक 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 भल होती. लोक मंत्र पानी कौन किसी अच्छी साइंटिफिक अच्छी किसी नथिंग, भल हो. तुमको फुंकी देले भल हो,
हाँ से बाबा
तुम
झाड़ा
तुम मुंडे हाथ देले भल हो. ये सब प्लेसबो इफेक्ट, बुझल नहीं? ये प्लेसबो बायस. तो तुम जान जे केते ड्रग केते तो खाइले पूरा भल हो, ये ड्रग खाइले पूरा भल हो. ए जो केते आजिकल सब जुआड़े जाउछन पिलाने सब ए जो खाउछन सब पुड़िया, तां माइंड टा काम करूनी, माने माइंड पर जेतिके पुड़िया खाइले भल होउछन. ये कोन पुड़िया किछ अछि? ये सबुड़ाक सब प्लेसबो इफेक्ट. Anyway, so they are the bias. So we are having so many bias, like external bias, personal bias, observer bias, expectancy bias, placebo bias. तो ये bias गुड़ाक आम यदि न कमेबा गोटे रिसर्च रिजल्ट टाकू आम साइंटिफिक कहि परिबा नहीं. The result in the research should be scientific. Scientific means it must be free from the bias. Clear?
यस
Yes, sir.
Any problem? Any doubt? अरे पिला माने आमे सब टिके स्पीडली जिबा, टाइम होबनी, 5टा आइलानी.
ठीक अछि सर. हाँ
ना
सर.
कोन कि एबे बुझो कि नहीं मत कह. मु तो
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
मते क्लास सुनो, तुम जे ऑफलाइन क्लास सिद्धांता मु तुमको आउरी बढ़िया एग्जांपल दे बुझी दियंती.
एबे बहुत
ऑनलाइन
टिके जीवाको पड़िबो.
तुमको तरबर होई कहया पड़िबो, कोर्स सारे पड़िबो. तेणु तुमर यदि कुछ मोर नंबर तुम टिपी दब, मोबाइल नंबर पचार बता पर मु कहबी
सर
मत सब मो मोबाइल नंबर मतलब टिपी दियो सब
कौन सा?
डाकुची 98610 32210.
थैंक यू सर.
हाँ ओके वेलकम.
Thank you, sir.
सुनो 98610 32210 एटा मो फोन नंबर. मत सब बेले राति 10टा पर फोन करिवो, कारण 10टा पर मोर थाए मिनि 10टा रु गोटे पते मु फ्री थाए. एनी क्वेश्चन पते परिवो तुमी, तो पाठ पते परिवो सुमु एनीथिंग 10 रु 11 मु सब बेले फ्री, राइट?
सर सर
मते पते परिवो सुमु एनी डाउट. आ मु
Yes.
एठी जो आज जो कहूची मु आई एम लिटिल बिट हरिड, कारण सारे पड़ो
सर
मु
सर
गोटे चैप्टर जाई परनी. सो नेक्स्ट आई कम टू कॉन्टेक्स्ट जस्टिफिकेशन. एठी कहूची कोन कॉन्टेक्स्ट जस्टिफिकेशन. हाँ, कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ जस्टिफिकेशन. Here कौन है?
ଟିକେ sound
अरे कौन है? हेलो
mic
Deepak, you need to mute yourself.
हेलो
Sir, ଆପଣ side ରୁ କିଛି problem ନାହିଁ sir. ଆପଣ
ଜାଣିପାରୁନି
continue
କଣ ଅଛି?
ଏବେ ଠିକ ଅଛି sir. ଏବେ ଠିକ ଅଛି sir, କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ଠିକ ଅଛି?
ହଁ।
ଏ କଣ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରୁନି କଣ ହଉଛି? ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି ମୋବାଇଲ କାମ କିଛି।
ଠିକ ଅଛି sir, ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା, anyway, so we are coming to context of justification. So it is, context means background. Justification means right or wrong, right? So here only in this research, it is a scientific method. So here the procedures are only for gathering evidences or interpreting evidences in a way to limit the errors. So here the conclusion is to say is it right or wrong, justified or not justified. Suppose you say that the question is, if you give more manure, there will be more vegetables, more production and vegetables. If you give more manure, more vegetables in the garden. Suppose you are with the question, somebody asked the question, is it a fact that if you give more cow dung, there will be more vegetables? Or if you don't give cow dung, if you give only ammonium sulfate or the urea or the other fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, there will be more outcome, more productivity. Now there is a question like this. Somebody asked two questions, and that question you are going to answer. So you are going to experiment. You are giving to one plot, you are giving cow dung. To another plot, you are giving urea. To another plot, you are not giving anything, only water. Then you see which one is having more, yielding more result, more product. Could you get me? So here is the process where scientifically you say, you answer your question, you justify. So use this manure, you will get more production. We just get the conclusion. Similarly here in psychological experiments, we want to justify whether you give more attention to the child in the classroom, it will help the child to read better, or whether you are giving more food to the child or better food only, then you will read better, or you give more dress to the child, it will be better. So all these things are there, questions are there. Now in the classroom also, you can have this, you can justify which one is going to contribute more to this. So in the context of justification, you give answer to the questions, right? So here, in the process of context of justification and context of verification or discovery, so actually we are using our scientific attitudes and values through which we are going to conduct research. And research is having some objective safeguards. So here the safeguards for the research that makes research more regulated. That is procedural safeguard, that is standardization, that is operationalization, that is avoiding bias. There are all four things that increases objectivity of the research. So first is procedural safeguard. So whether you are proceeding, the procedure is step by step or not. And it is the standardization. That means whether you are using uniform or consistent procedure in different phases. And the third is operationalization, and it is actually how you are measuring this data. And lastly, the bias. I told you all the bias, how you have avoided the bias. So through all these things, you can increase objectivity of the research. That's all. Next we come to the next one, that is steps in research process. So the steps in the process are like, we are having some 4 to 5 steps. Actually, we are having 7 steps here. 7 steps here, how to stepwise progress in research. Number 1, identification of a problem. So first of all, you select a problem. Suppose the problem is, as I told you today, whether sex or gender. Sex and gender, two different terms, but can mutually be used. But basically, here in human beings, we were using gender. The gender, like male and female. The gender is influencing or determining attitude, or gender is determining achievement. Suppose this is a question, or this is a research problem. So this is we want to make a study on that. So our problem will be, we must make a problem. It's a problem area. So we must make a study that to find out the effect of gender on attitude in the individuals, or effect of gender on behavior of individuals. Is a problem. It's a study you are going to do. And this is actually the first one where you identify the problem. So we wanted to know something, to know the effect of gender. So you are now going to identify the problem. The problem is whether gender is having effect on the behavior of the individuals. So now after you get the problem identified, you go for a review of literature. So the review means, so here you are going to prior work related to the topic. The topic is gender and behavior. So now I want to go to look into studies that has been done earlier in this area of gender and behavior. So you want to go through the studies. That is called a review of literature. And the studies you can get through the Google or through your books or through research journals. You read these other studies and you get accumulate information about the problem area. And next you come to, after the problem identification, you first decide the problem, you write the concept of problem, what are the concepts leading to problem, then you come to review of area. On the review, then you come to hypothesis. So now see, in the research you are doing in psychology, you will have to do in the project in future also. Now you know this. In project works, the students in IGNOU, they are having a lot of problems. They are going through different guides, different people, and they are so afraid of topics that they are not going to go through personally. They are giving money, 10, 15,000 they are giving, or something like that, and asking somebody to do for them. This is a very bad case. So you people, please remember, it's very easy and no such expenditure required. You can do it very patiently, very clearly. I am telling you how to do it. That is research, and that you have to do in your projects. Number 1, you first identify a problem. You decide a problem, and then you write something about the area. That area, like gender, what is gender? Behavior, what is behavior? Attitude, what is attitude? And you write something, how gender, behavior, attitude, they are related. So problem, then your introduction. Introduction means you introduce the area. Then you come to review of literature. Means you are collecting other informations, or you are collecting informations on that area from other studies done prior to this. Then from this, now you can, in your book, there is one line, psych info. You will see this like written here in bold, psych info. Are you able to read this? In page number 13, top,
Yes.
psych info. And this is a type of you can through this you can collect the information about the problem or problem area. So that is helping you to collect the review. So now you see problem identified, then the problem area is narrated or introduced, then the review is collecting information about the problem area or the problem done earlier through psycho info, and next you come to formulate hypothesis.
Yes.
So now you had a question earlier which I wanted to clarify in hypothesis. If you ask the question again, I can clarify. But anyway, the hypothesis is a prediction. So before doing something, you have heard something. So from your impressions you have got from some sources, you have something in your mind. So from that something you can hypothesize, you can predict. As I told you about urban area, rural area, or about rich people, poor people, about the higher caste, lower caste. So you have some ideas in your mind, and that idea in your mind, or the concepts in your mind helps you to formulate a hypothesis. So hypothesis means that is a hypothesis. I mean, before conclusion you make something about that. So hypothesis is a prediction, is a foretelling. You say something about the result. So here, from your earlier observations or from your earlier notions, you believe something will happen. So that belief you put in form of hypothesis. For example, you can say the boys will be more aggressive. Hypothesis. The girls will be less aggressive. It's a hypothesis. Or, for example, the girls and boys. Usually the boys are taller. Is that it? Hello?
Huh?
Are you all hearing me or not?
Yes, sir.
Then why
Yes,
don't
sir. Yes, sir.
why don't you give me a quick response? Unless you say quickly, I feel that you are not hearing. So suppose usually the boys are taller, heavier.
Yes.
Suppose you are having a hypothesis. You are going to make a study about the height and sex. Whether the males are having more height or the girls are having more height. Suppose you are having a study. So in that study, you will have to make a hypothesis. What will be your hypothesis? Your hypothesis
That
will
the
be,
boys are taller than the girls?
yes,
Boys are taller than the girls?
exactly. So your hypothesis will be boys are taller than the girl. Because you have seen something like this, heard
Yes.
something like this. So hypotheses are
Sir, can
made.
this be called as a bias?
So listen.
Yes. So that.
So maybe bias, maybe anything. But hypothesis doesn't bother about bias. Because hypothesis is your mental concept. you know mentally you have seen in families. Brothers are taller and sisters are not taller. So you have heard it also. Males are stronger. So you have heard it that the
Yes,
hero is
Hmm.
in your film pictures are hearing this hero and heroines. Have you seen a heroine taller than the hero?
No.
Then, so from your observation, you have made a hypothesis that boys are taller than the girls. So it's a hypothesis. Now you make a study and you get the truth. The conclusion, suppose you compared 100 boys, 100 girls, you made a study and you get a conclusion, then you conclude whether the hypothesis is correct or not. If not correct, then you can say the hypothesis is wrong. Could you get me or not?
Yes.
So first of all, you have to formulate a hypothesis, right?
Hmm.
So when you make a hypothesis, then you can proceed to a research. So after you made a hypothesis, any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No
No,
question.
sir.
About bias, don't bother, because biases are also concepts in the mind, right?
Yes.
So next you come to identifying, manipulating, and controlling variables. So when you go to hypothesis testing, then you control the variables. There are many variables like dependent variables, independent variables, extraneous variables. Suppose you are doing an experiment in the room. You are going to see the effect of gender on behavior. So gender, suppose gender has an effect. You now see the sex and height. You say male are higher than the taller than the girls. So now see here the sex, or you can say gender. Sex means boy and girl. So the sex is determining height. So sex is independent variable, height is dependent variable. So cause is always independent variable, result is always dependent variable. Similarly, suppose you practice more and more and you learn better. So now practice is independent variable, learning outcome is dependent variable. So anything where the cause is independent variable and the result is dependent variable, because the result depends on the cause. Could you get me or not? So the dependent variable. So we find in experimental research always independent variable and dependent variable. And here we control the independent variable and we see the effect of independent variable on dependent variable. Sometimes in the experiment we find another variable which is called extraneous variable. Extraneous variable. For example, here the extraneous variable is, for example, when you are going to read in the classroom, there is a high temperature, very hot, very hot day. So what you are saying? So you are not able to read, you are not able to concentrate. So you can say this is an extraneous variable, temperature or noise is extraneous variable. So here in the experiment you are going to research, you always try to identify the variables, manipulate the variables, and control the variables. Unless you control the independent variable. For example, I told you the example of manure, cow dung, chemical fertilizer, and water. There are three plots, three things. So you are controlling in water. What are you doing? You are controlling, not giving anything, only water. And in cow dung, this is one type of variable, changing, independent variable. And chemical, another variable, we can changing the variable. So cow dung and chemical fertilizer, they are independent variables. For that, the production is increasing. Isn't it? So now the cow dung or the production or the manure, we are controlling, changing. We are giving this cow dung, that one only chemicals. So here the independent variable is now controlled. We are changing according to our choice. And we are seeing what the result is occurring. So, but in that particular context, we can say, suppose there is water quality, water is saline or water is acidity, water problem or some other problem, that is an extraneous variable. In the classroom, teacher teaching, a teacher teaching well, students are learning well, listening well. But if there is very high fan sound or a very high temperature, then the students are affected. That is a extraneous variable. So teachers teaching, independent variable. Students listening, dependent variable. But in between, there is an intervening variable, that is extraneous variable. So we are having different variables. So that we have to know. The next point is, are you able to get me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. The point, step 4.
Yes, sir.
The step 4 is formulating a design. So you formulate design, how to do. The design must be scientific, experimental. So step by step you have to go, and what type of variable you have to control, what type of variable you should not control. So what is the design? So that has to be research design. It's a blueprint of the procedure. How will you proceed? How will you go? That is the blueprint in design. Design means how you are going to make the research. The how of facts is the design, right? So next step is constructing device for observation and measurement. So you are giving the tools, questionnaires. You are giving a scale or questionnaire tools, and you give it to the students or the individuals who are participating, and there we go to measure the tools. That's for measurement. We can go. You can give questionnaire. You can give interview. You can take interview schedule, anything in the psychological research, and that is the tool. And next is sample session. Now the question is, you are now decided the variables. You decided the design. Now you decided the measurement tools. Then on whom? On whom? So here you are doing it on individuals. And those individuals will be both male and female. 10 girls, 10 boys. So female, male mixed. And here that is sample. So sample means sample is a small cross-section of the general population. Suppose you want to study the effect of one thing in all Indian. Suppose you want to study the effect of one thing. Suppose somebody says the fruit. Which fruit is the best fruit? Suppose you want to get the answer from all over India. Can you do it? If you go to Indian people, let's say 125 crores. So you cannot, in a lifetime, you cannot make it conclusion.
Yes.
So always that's the population of India. So you can take a sample from India.
Yes.
So you can make 10 from Orissa, 10 from UP, 10 from MP, 10 from Bihar, 10, 10, 10. You can make a study. Or even not possible to take 10 from all districts, all states. From one state, even you can take 100, then you can do also. That's sample. So samples are the representative collection of the population. And here you get a sample. And the sample you are taking here, 10 plus 10, 10 male, 10 female. There are crores of male, crores of female. Are you able to go that? No. So we are getting it 10 and 10. That is sample. So you take a sample session and then you give the tools to the sample, give the questionnaires and take the answers and take the data. And the next step is take the data, and data analysis will be done by statistical method. You use here the t-test or the f-test. You take the mean, take the median, take the standard deviation. So make the statistical procedure. Then you get an interpretation, statistical interpretation. Then you come to conclusion. So after getting the conclusion, you reach here. In conclusion, you are verifying the hypothesis. In conclusion, you say whether your hypothesis is correct or not. Would you get me or not? In hypothesis, you have taken the boys are taller than the girls. Now in the conclusion, you say whether really the boys are taller than the girls or not. So whatever you have taken in hypothesis, you have to here state here. So conclusion is only the verification of hypothesis. Clear?
Yes.
So now next to there you come to the last part, that is report writing. So now you got a result and you generalize this. You say this is this, like theory building. Then from this report, you make a publication in your journal, or you get your thesis like PhD or in project thesis, or you get a publication. And through that, you generalize your finding. So these are all the things about all the steps you are taking in the research process. Then you come to the next chapter, that's the importance of research in psychology. In psychology, the research is very much important because it gives you empirical and theoretical knowledge. It gives you practical gains, practical knowledge also to discovering the truth. It also uses methods with the experimental methods. The methods are not armchair methods, not speculation. We are having laboratories and we are getting the laboratory conclusions, that is experimental methods. And in psychological research also, it's very rigorous scientific norms. We use statistical methods also. So in psychology, the research nowadays has been very important because we were using laboratory, you are using high statistical methods, you are using step, we are going step by step, and also depending on objectivity. So like this, we can now complete this chapter. We come to the next chapter. Now come to reliability and validity. Are you prepared?
Yes.
Reliability and validity. So now briefly I'm telling.
Yes, sir.
Well, my dear students, I am not able to know you all, but the thing is, we have to make the class over at 6 o'clock. Is not it?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, and only we're having 20 minutes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I am not even. Is not
We
it?
will finish the next chapter first and we will prepare it later. We can have a group discussion after the summing up of all 4 sessions. I
Listen,
think it will be beneficial.
listen. Today I was given 4 chapters to tell you. I have completed only 1. Another 3
Yes.
left. Another 3 I cannot complete
Let's,
within 25
move
minutes.
forward. Move forward fastly.
So first of all, I'm giving you the meaning only.
Yes, yes.
Reliability and validity.
Yes, sir.
What is reliability? You say he's my trusted friend. You say he's my reliable friend. When you say your friend is reliable, what does it mean? Reliability means,
We can depend on him and whatever he say that he will do.
okay, you say you are depending on him. So reliability is replicability. So you have found him sometimes honest. He reliable means you predict that he will be honest again. Right? So
Yes.
reliability means the consistency. So my
Yes.
friend is reliable means my friend is consistent. So what is now? It will always be like, he'll be always like this. Could you get me or not? So
Yes, yes.
reliability indicates replicability. Reliability indicates consistency. Reliability indicates trustworthiness. Could you get me? So the reliability can be measured by retest reliability. That is one you are testing today. You are testing again. After a gap, you will find result will be same. Then you can say it is reliable.
Yes.
Today testing, but tomorrow testing then different. Then it is not reliable. Is not it? So
Yes.
it is reliability. Then a parallel form reliability. Then you are going to get test. You half of the test and other half of the test. You coordinate. You correlate. If the correlation is high, you say the reliable. If there is a poor, this half, that half, not correlating, you say this is not reliable. Then also you have split half, parallel form. I told you about split half, half. But in parallel form, this test is immediately testing, retesting. Parallel form with alternative, with a gap, 1 month gap. Again, I'm repeating. I just made a sleep. So test is you testing now. Again, you are retesting. Then you find result is same or not. If same, reliable. In a parallel form, you test one thing and you test a similar test, not the same. Parallel form. In a gap, if it is same, you say reliable. In a split half, then actually you get the data half split, then you make the correlation, then you say if it highly correlated, reliable. In Kudo Richardson, the same correlation is measured in Cronbach and Richardson. So now here, the first category, test and parallel form, that are using very comfortably. But nowadays, and those two test and parallel form that are measuring external consistency. And here, the split up, Kudo Richardson and Cronbach, they are measuring internal consistency.
Internal consistency.
So internal consistency means then about the test items, their validity inside, all these things we will see later. So now here the validity is something else. Validity is how you appear like. Suppose you are going to give a test on attitude, but none of the items are indicating attitudes. Or suppose you are going to ask some questions about politicians in today India, but nothing is given. The questions are not linked to the politics. Or suppose you are asking about the religious mind of people in India, but the questions are not given about Ramayana or Mahabharata. Then what you say? The questions are not valid. So valid means how it appears. Could you get me or not? So one is the content validity. Suppose you are going to take the scale. If the scale or the content, if the contents are not there, the contents are not like the research. Research want to do on this area, but the contents are not in that area, then it lacks content validity. So similarly, we are having content validity, content validity, content validity, face validity, internal validity, external validity. So all these are types of validity. ମୁଁ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଉଛି ଖାଲି ପଢ଼ିବ ସବୁ ତାପରେ କହିଲେ ବୁଝିପାରିବନି ପଢ଼ ମୁଁ କାଲିକି ତୁମକୁ କ୍ୱାଲିଫାଏ କରିଦେବି ମୁଁ କାଲି ଗୋଟିଏ କହିବି ଫେସ୍ ଭ୍ୟାଲିଡିଟି ଥରେ ଜଣେ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଜିନିଷ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କହୁଛି ମୋର ସାଙ୍ଗ ଜଣେ ସେ ଯାଇଥିଲେ ଜଣେ ଡାକ୍ତର ପାଖକୁ ଆମେ ବାଣୀ ବିହାରରେ ପଢ଼ିଲା ବେଳକୁ 1971 ମସିହା ଆମେ ବାଣୀ ବିହାରରେ ପଢ଼ୁଥିଲୁ ଏ ସାଙ୍ଗର ବାଳ ବହୁତ ଛିଣ୍ଡିଲା ବହୁତ ହେୟାର ଫଲିଂ ହେଲାବେଳେ ସିଏ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ସିଏ ଯାଇକିରି ଡାକ୍ତର ପାଖକୁ ଗଲା ପଚାରିବା ପାଇଁ ଯେ କାହିଁକି ଏମିତି ହେୟାର ଫଲ୍ କରୁଛି କ'ଣ କରିପାରିବ କ'ଣ କଲେ ସେ ହେୟାର ଫଲ୍ ହେବନି ଡାକ୍ତର କହିଲେ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ଡାକ୍ତର ଦେଖିଲା ବେଳକୁ ସେ ଗଲା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଡାକ୍ତର ନିଜେ ଚନ୍ଦା ଲୋକ ତାର ବାଳ କିଛି ମୁଣ୍ଡରେ ନାହିଁ ତେଣୁ ସିଏ ଯାଇଛି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମେଡ଼ିକାଲ ଡାକ୍ତର ପାଖକୁ ଯାଇଛି ତାର ଅଳ୍ପ କଥା କରି ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା ଆଉ କିଛି ଡାକ୍ତରଠୁ ରିଫ୍ରେକ୍ସନ୍ ଆଣିଲାନି ଆମେ ହସିଲୁ କହିଲେ କ'ଣ ନା ସିଏ ତ ନିଜେ ଚନ୍ଦା ମତେ ମୋର କ'ଣ ବାଳ ଭଲ କରି ରଖିବି ତେଣୁ ନାଉ ସି the doctor himself is appearing facially invalid.
Invalid.
ଯିଏ ତମ ଗୋଟେ ଡାକ୍ତର ଗୋଟେ ଦବ ନିଜେ ଗୋଟେ ବିକଳା ଗୋଟେ ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡିକ୍ୟାପ୍ ଡାକ୍ତର ଗୋଟେ ଚାଲିପାରୁନି ତମର ସେ ପ୍ରଫେସର ସର୍ଜନ ହେଇଥିବ ସର୍ଜିକାଲ ପ୍ରଫେସର ହେଇଥିବ ତମ ଭଲ ଲାଗିବ ଆଉ ତମର ଯିଏ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ଲାଇଣ୍ଡ ଲୋକ ସେ ଡକ୍ଟର ଆଇ ହେଇଥିବ ତୁମ ଭଲ ଲାଗିବ you will find that is face validity. Then face validity means how it appears, right? Then validity means how the test appears.
Yes.
So now all the validity are there. So you can just go for that. So that's a very big chapter. So how ଟିକେ ତାପରେ କହିଦେବି ମୁଁ ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଚାପ୍ଟରକୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସୁଛି ମୁଁ ଖାଲି ବ୍ରିଫଲି କହୁଛି ମୁଁ variables and constructs ମୁଁ variable ତୁମକୁ କହିଛି variable ମାନେ କ'ଣ ମୁଁ I have told you independent variable dependent variable extraneous variable କହିଛି ତୁମକୁ variable ମାନେ ହେଉଛି ମାନେ the stimulus that varies anything that varies is variable. So variable may be stimulus variable ମନେକର ତୁମେ ଦେଖିବ ଯେ SOR stimulus organism response ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ ତୁମେ ଷ୍ଟିମୁଲସ୍ ଦେଲ ଏ ଯେଉଁ ଓ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟରଟା ତୁମର ମଣିଷ ଯେଉଁ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ସେ ଯଦି ଖୁସି ଥିବ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ ଗୋଟେ କରିଦେବ ଯଦି ଲାକ୍ ଅଫ୍ ମୁଡ୍ ଥିବ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ ଅନପାର ହେଇଯିବ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ତେଣୁ ଷ୍ଟିମୁଲସ୍ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଇଜ୍ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ ଗୋଟେ ତାପରେ ଆସିଛି ତୁମେ ଦେଖ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ ତାପରେ ଆସିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଏପଟେ ଦେଖ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ କ'ଣ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ କ'ଣ ତାପରେ ଆସିଛି ଏକ୍ସଟର୍ନେସ୍ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ୍ and confounding variable ଦେଖୁଛ କି ନାହିଁ extraneous variable and confounding variable ଦେଖୁଛ 333 page 38 333 extraneous and confounding variable
yes
ଦେଖୁଛ so ଦେଖ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କହିଛି ଏକ୍ସଟର୍ନାଲ ଭାରିଏବଲ୍ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଇଥିଲି ମୁଁ ଫ୍ୟାନ୍ ଲାଗିଛି କହିନଥିଲି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ କନଫାଉଣ୍ଡିଂ ଭାରିଏବଲ୍ କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ମନେକର ମୁଁ ଦେଖୁଛି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିଥିଲି ଜେଣ୍ଡର ଏଫେକ୍ଟ ଅନ୍ aggression. इधर स्टडी करी कौन मेल फीमेल आम पाइली 10 रु 8 मेल एग्रेसिव
aggressive.
ये झील भितर 10 रु 2 फीमेल एग्रेसिव. Now the question is ये जो 2 फीमेल की 10 मेल नेलु तार एज कौन समस्त ये आडल्ट अलग कथा 10 मेल रु 2 जन हेले बियॉन्ड 60 अबव 60 बाकी 2 जन हेले बिलो 10 बिलो 20 ताने कौन ला ताने एज इफेक्ट अच्छी गोटे
अच्छी.
तेणु ये मेल भितर आम जेंडर नौचु जेंडर है इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल मेल क्या सागे गोटे रही एज आम एज काढ़ी पारानी बुझ नहीं तेणु एटा है कौन कनफाउंडिंग वेरिएबल कनफाउंडिंग बुझ नहीं सेमती आम नौचु मगर ये अर्बान रूरल एरिया कि आम जहाँ ना भी आम नौचु हाइट उपर केते एज नौ तुम्हें पुणी कौ एरिया नौच गोटे गोटे एरिया हाइट भी बेसी अच्छी मेल नहीं कौ मेल नहीं कौटा एरिया मेल नहीं तेणु ये सब अच्छी सब नुहे कि तेणु तुम गोटे नेला को इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल पाइब जे ता देहरे गोटे अन्य फैक्टर लिंक नहीं जाइए जोटा आम काढ़ी अलग कर पारिबानी से कनफाउंडिंग वेरिएबल बुझल. आर यू क्लियर?
Yes.
राइट माने आउ देख तुम्हें माने स्मोकिंग आ गोटे कोरोनरी हार्ट डिजीज ऊपर स्मोकिंग पर स्टडी कर भाव जे स्मोकिंग कले बेसी हार्ट प्रोब्लेम हुए बोली किंतु तुम जो स्टडी करुच जहाँ पर हार्ट प्रोब्लेम हार्ट स्टडी करुच स्मोकिंग कर स्मोकिंग एंड हार्ट प्रोब्लेम यू मेकिंग स्टडी ये जो हार्ट पेसेंट जी ताके डायबिटीज थी ताके आउ कौन रोग थी दैट यू आर नॉट एक्सक्लूडिंग तो से जो रोग थी आउ कौन गोटे एटा कनफाउंडिंग फैक्टर व्हिच यू कांट एलिमिनेट बुझे नहीं. देन अगेन द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज एक्टिव एंड attributable variable जो variable we can manipulate that is called active variable and which cannot be manipulated only can be measured by experimenter is called attributable variable but attribute variable. Similarly we are having quantitative and qualitative variable and two variables गुड़ा कौन तुम नौ नंबर ऊपर क्वांटिटी अमाउंट ऊपर नौ that is can quantity variable आ गोटे नौ variable category that is good bad like qualitative type रो से गोटे variable गोटे तो कंटीन्यूअस वेरिएबल और डिस्क्रीट वेरिएबल माने जो वेरिएबल ता एकदम माइन्यूट डिवीजन करियो सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल देखो तमरो घरे मन कर 5 जन मेंबर तुम पड़ोसा घर सन्ती 4 जन मेंबर तमें कहि परिबो कि पर फैमिली हाउ मेनी मेंबर्स कहि परिबो तम घरे 5 जन मेंबर तुम पड़ोसा घर 4 जन मेंबर 2 जन पर मिसी केते 9 मेंबर कहि परिबो कि पर फैमिली केते मेंबर एवरेज कहि परिबो केते हेले
नहीं 4.5 नहीं होगा सर 4 to 5
4.5 आमे 4 अधे मेंबर कहि परिबो कि
ना इम्पॉसिबल
कहि परिबोनी कि टंका कहला लकू 5 टंका 4 टंका कहला लकू आमे कहबा 4 टंका 8 टंका कहि परिबा
हाँ कहि परिबा
तो जोठी हमें माइन्यूट डिवीजन करि परिबा सेला कंटीन्यूअस वेरिएबल
अच्छा
माने मिनिमम तमे आनि परिबा तो जोठी गोटे गैप रहि गेला करि परिबानी
ठीक
टेबल चेयर एतकी टेबल पड़िछि गोटे रूम रे केते टेबल 4 हाफ टेबल दरकार कहि परिबा
नहीं
बिकॉज नंबर कहि परनी सेति पई जुडा सब सब डिवीजन हे परिबो डेसिमल रे ये सब लागा कंटीन्यूअस टेबल कंटीन्यूअस वेरिएबल जुडा हे परबनी गैप रहला ओनली राउंड नंबर रहबो डिस्क्रीट वेरिएबल्स अला कॉन्स्टेंट्स हला हमर जो कांसेप्ट उडा नौजो हमें हमर जो कलु एक्सपेरिमेंट करछो कांसेप्ट रे करछो ओटे मनकर एटीट्यूड एप्टीट्यूड जेंडर कांसेप्ट ऊपर ये तो गुडे कांसेप्ट जो कर हम नौचु से गोटे कांस्टेंट फॉर्म करते कांस्टेंट होची कोन ना कांस्टेंट होची गोटे माने फॉर एग्जांपल सेक्स ତା ଭିତରେ କେତେ ଗୁଡ଼େ ଯାଉଛି ତୋର ମାନେ କେତେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଜିନିଷ ହେଉଛି ଭାରି ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ପଡ଼ୁଛି ଇଣ୍ଟେଲିଜେନ୍ସ ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ପଡ଼ୁଛି ଗୋଟେ କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟ ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ 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 ଗ୍ରୁପ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ତାପରେ ତୁମର ଏଇ ଯୋଉ କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ତା ଦେହରେ ଦେଖୁଛ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଇଣ୍ଟରଭେନିଂ ଭାରିଏବୁଲ ବା ଗୋଟେ ହାଇପୋଥେଟିକାଲ କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟ ଏସବୁ ରହିଛି ଯୋଉଟାକି ସବୁ ତୁମର ମାନେ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଦେଖ ତୁମର ଯୋଉଦିନ ତୁମେ ତମର ବାର୍ଥ ଡେ ସବୁ ଅଛ ତ ସବୁ ନା କିଏ ପହିଲାଣି ପିଲାମାନେ ସବୁ
ଅଛୁ
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଶୁଣ
Yes, sir.
ଆଉ ଅଳ୍ପ 5 ମିନିଟ୍ ଅଛି ତ ପଶିଯାଅ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ମୁଁ ତରଫରେ କହିଥାନ୍ତି କି ଯାଉଥିଲି ଆଚ୍ଛା ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ଦେଉଛି ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଦିନ ତମର ବାର୍ଥ ଡେ ନୂଆ ଡ୍ରେସ୍ ପିନ୍ଧିଛ ତୁମେ ଦେଖିବ ତମର ଭଲ ଭଲ ଇଂଲିଶ କହୁଥିବ ଭଲ ଚାଲିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଗୋଟେ ବଢ଼ିଆ ଲାଗୁଥିବ ଭାରି ମଜା ଲାଗୁଥିବ ଯାହା ଖାଇଲେ ଶୀଘ୍ର ହଜମ ହେଇଯାଉଥିବ ହଉନି ସବୁ ଯୋଉଦିନ ବାର୍ଥ ଡେ এটা କାହିଁକି ହୁଏ କାହିଁକି ହୁଏ ତୁମେ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖିବ ମଝିରେ ଗୋଟେ ତୁମର ମାନେ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜିଂ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ଗୋଟେ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର କାମ କରୁଛି ଇଣ୍ଟରଭେନିଂ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ହ୍ୱିଚ୍ ହେଲ୍ପସ୍ ୟୁ ଟୁ ଡୁ ଏଭ୍ରିଥିଙ୍ଗ ତେଣୁ ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଗୁଡ଼ା ବେଳେବେଳେ ଆମର କାମ କରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭେନିଂ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର ତେଣୁ ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟରେ ଆସିବ ମୁଁ ତୁମ ପଛରେ କହିବି ପଛରେ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ପରେ ତୁମକୁ ବୁଝେଇଦେବି କେତେବେଳେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ଟାଇମ୍ ମୁଁ ପଳେଇ ଆସୁଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ନୂଆ ବାଟକୁ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଟେଷ୍ଟିଂ ଆମର ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ପରେ କହୁଥିଲି ମୁଁ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ଭେରି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଏ ମିନିଂ ଅଫ୍ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ଆଗରୁ କହିଛି ହାଉ ଟୁ ଫର୍ମୁଲେଟ୍ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କହିଛି ଏବଂ ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍ ସବୁବେଳେ ତୁମର अर्लियर एक्सपीरियंस फैक्ट को नहीं हवा कथा दैट इज पॉसिबिलिटी फॉर फॉर्मुलेटिंग ए गुड हाइपोथेसिस जोटा हम हाइपोथेसिस केते प्रकार रो दी प्रकार रो गोटे नल हाइपोथेसिस आ गोटे अल्टरनेट हाइपोथेसिस आमे सबले टेस्ट कर स्टैटिस्टिकली आमे भाबू देयर इज नो इफेक्ट आमे को जेंडर इफेक्ट ऑन एटीट्यूड आमे कहबा जेंडर हैज नो इफेक्ट ऑन एटीट्यूड दैट इज ए नल हाइपोथेसिस जेंडर हैज इफेक्ट ऑन हाइपोथेसिस ऑन एटीट्यूड दैट इज अल्टरनेट हाइपोथेसिस so null hypothesis means zero एतबेले हमर के नो इफेक्ट
नो इफेक्ट
आमे कहबो जेंडर रो इफेक्ट अछि एटा नल हाइपोथेसिस हे परिबनी जेंडर नो इफेक्ट नल हाइपोथेसिस इफेक्ट अछि माने अल्टरनेट हाइपोथेसिस राइट तेनु हम हाइपोथेसिस दी प्रकार रो कोडेला नल हाइपोथेसिस कोडेला जेंडर अल्टरनेट हाइपोथेसिस तेनु आमे कहबो ये ताटू अधिका अधिका कहबू अल्टरनेट हाइपोथेसिस ताटू कम बा नो डिफरेंस आमे कहबू नल हाइपोथेसिस A is less than or equal to B is equal to null hypothesis. But A is more than B, that is alternate hypothesis. Right? तेणु आमर जो हाइपोथेसिस नौछु आमे हाइपोथेसिस नवारे आमर केता एरर थाए आमर सैंपलिंग भल सैंपल नै नथिबु डाटा भल कलेक्ट कर नथिबु कि सठी डिजाइन भूल थिबो कि स्टैटिस्टिकली जो मेथड नै से ठीक हेन थिबो ताले आमर हाइपोथेसिस भूल हे जिवो तेणु याकु सब नेले आमर सब हाइपोथेसिस भल हबो ठीक हबो आमर सैंपलिंग यदि भल सैंपल नै थिबु ताले हाइपोथेसिस भल हे पारे ए जो सैंपलिंग आमे करूछु आमे मु तो कहिछि सैंपलिंग होछि गोटे पॉपुलेशन रो ब्रीफ रिप्रेजेंटेशन आम सैंपलिंग होछि दी प्रकार रो गोटे नॉन प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग गोटे प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग जो सैंपलिंग रे आमे समस्त सब संख्या ऑल मेंबर्स बा ऑल इंडिविजुअल्स हैव इक्वल पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ बीइंग टेकन और चूजन ये हला तुमरो प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग आ जो थरे ताकर संभावना नाही the chance factor is not there. So there is arbitrary thing, there is a biased thing that is called non-probability sampling. The non-probability sampling may be haphazard or accidental or convenient sampling. आमे जाउछु रास्ता रे गोटे सैंपल नै गलु ताकर ओपिनियन नै गलु एटा एक्सीडेंटल बा कन्वीनियंट सैंपल बा हाफेजर सैंपलिंग कोटा सैंपलिंग आमे कोटा नउछु माने पुओ झियोंकर स्टडी करछु आ देखलु बेसी संख्या होचंदी पुओ कम हेले झील तेणु पुओं संख्यार गोटे कल्प नहीं गलु गोटे गोटे 10 पुओ नेलु 9 नेलु झील कोटारे करदेलु सैंपलिंग गोटे पर्पस सैंपलिंग तुम्हें गोटे जहाँ करुच जो पर्पस तुम सेटा को लेकिन तुम गोटे सैंपल नहीं जाऊछ तुम नौ गोटे भ्यू नब जे अबाउट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अबाउट मोदी व्हाट द पीपल से तुम कौन कर ना तुम्हें देख जर्नालीस्ट मान सी भल कहीपरि तुम जर्नालीस्ट मान गोटे ग्रुप पलैल ये पर्पस सैंपलिंग और सैंपलिंग स्नोबॉल सैंपलिंग है गोटे ग्रुप नेल से ग्रुप को कहल आ गोटे ना दे तार से ग्रुप से ना दे कल पुणी से कहले आ गोटे ना दे सी तो गोटे ग्रुप रू के ना पाइगल ताकटू पुणी आउ गोटे ना पाइगल एमती ग्रुप ग्रुप नहीं तुम स्नोबॉल सैंपलिंग राइट ये तुम नॉन प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग जो प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग तुम रैंडम सैंपलिंग बा सिंपल रैंडम सैंपलिंग बा तुम नेल ये कौन तुम 20 जन पिला बसती तुम नब 10 जन को 20 पेपर ना लिखिदेल कहल उठे दे पेपर उठेल लटरी पेपर उठेल ऑल 20 हैव चांसेस टू बी इलेक्टेड तेणु तुम सिंपल रैंडम सैंपलिंग आ गए तुम स्ट्राटिफाइड रैंडम सैंपलिंग विभिन्न कैटेगोरी तुम से मेथड कैटेगोरी नहीं गल केते कैटेगोरी माने कैटेगोरी अर्बन रू नेल रूराल रू नेल कि हाई इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस लो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस नेल जो ये रैंडमली नेलती कहती सर्टिफाइड रैंडम सैंपलिंग क्लस्टर सैंपलिंग तुम ग्रुप नेल रैंडमली ग्रुप नौ तुम तीन पाला तुम तुम प्रोबेबिलिटी सैंपलिंग एंड नाउ
Certified or simple random? Yes.
तुम ये कहली आज मु बुझल तुम तरफ मुझे सब कहली तुमको आहरी भी तुम अच्छी बोधे गोटे कौन अच्छी तुम तुम सारिया कथा मुझे कहते करने मुझे तो सारी पारूनी एनीवे तुम मुझे कहली कॉन्सेप्ट इन रिसर्च तुम मुझे खाली कहीदे ना क्लासीफाई कर खाली मीनिंग गुड़ाक रिलायबिलिटी वैलिडिटी भितर जाइनी तुम भारिएबल्स कही मु आ कंस्ट्रक्ट तुमको आगे भल कहबी तुम टे डाउट थी मन में आ जो हाइपोथेसिस फॉर्मुलेशन सैंपलिंग मुझे तुमको कहीदे तरबर में जदि तुम घरे पढ़ी डाउट थी मत काली मु तुम 4टा बेले कहला बेलू मुझे 15 मिनट आगुआ आसवि ना कहदी
Sir, sure. Welcome.
हाँ बेस काली तुम आगुआ कह मतलब डाउट पचार मुझे कहीदेवी और एल्स जदि बा डाउट क्लारिफाई हो पारुनी मु जानूची मु तरबर कहूँ कारण मत सारे पड़े बोली कहुई कि मुझे तरबर कह लोक नुहे मत भल लगुनि कहवाई तेणु जदिबा किसी तुम बुझी न पारि था तुम मत मो नंबर नहीं तुम पचारे मुझे बुझेदेवी क्लारिफाई करदेवी
Sir. Sir.
आ कह कह तुम तो टाइम है 6टा होगा बोधे सी कह करना 6 होगा बोली anything will you ask me now for 1-2 minutes I am very happy to if I get your questions
सही सबु जिनस को गोटे ब्रॉड वे गोटे सैंपलिंग एग्जांपल तो धरिकी आमे पॉइंट वाइज एटा जदी करबा को दिन अन्य दिन पछे आमे
हाँ।
टिके भलो करी बुझी पारिबा केस
कौन
स्टडी करिया गोटे
माने गोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट को बुझिया पे
हां हां
राइट कहदेवी
सेथरे का कांसेप्ट कुडा क्लियर हे जिवो एमती हमें सैंपलिंग चूज करनु एमती प्रोसेस फॉलो करलु एटा माने ए वेरिएबल को वैलिड करलु एटा को ए वेरिएबल को इनवैलिड करलु सेमती करी की हे जिवो बहुत
सब गुडा को तुम कहूछ गोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट रे कला भितर 25 स्टेप गुडा गोटे पास बुझे बुझे देखि गले गोटे हबो
हां
ए
सर
10 मिनट लागिवो सब क्लैरिफाई हे जिवो
सब क्लेरिफाई हे जिवो
हां तमे भी जदी तुम चाहिबो अदी तमे निजे पढ़ी दियो आज घरे
से कहूची सर काली हमें एटा कर देले क्लियर हे जिवा गुटे हमें एबे समस्त पढ़ी नथिबे सेति पई टिके बेसी भी कंफ्यूज थिबे आहुरी टिके भल करी पढ़ी देले मने रही जिवो किछिटा पुनी रिकॉल हे जिवो काली
हां ठीक अछि
आहुरी क्लियर हे जिवो
ओके
तो
ठीक
फर्स्ट
अछि
15 मिनट्स सेटा दे देबा बोलो हबो
ठीक अछि तमे काली से तो पढ़ी के आसो मते कहले मु प्रथमे नंबर को 5 मिनट खणे आई कैन इन्वेस्ट फॉर यू राइट
यस सर
oh thank you all for cooperating in this
वेलकम सर एंड थैंक यू सर
oh जब तुम्हारा किसी यदि बुझी पा नथिबो we can be clear we'll clarify all this tomorrow let us hope that everybody follows everybody clarifies everything right
yes sir we will try our best sir
okay thank you
sir
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
thank you
sir.
thank you Sumodatta, are you here or have you gone
No, okay.
yes Sita is here
Yes, sir.
Deepak is here Deepak not here Radha you have gone acha anyway Sonalika are you here
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, Samadatta, you are here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Then Deepak, Deepak Kumar.
Sir,
Very good.
Samanto.
Samanto.
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good, very good. So I am happy all the great men are here in the class.
Thank you,
Good.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will again see tomorrow, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
I am closing it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, keep your mother. Keep mother bond कर दियो. Bond कर दियो. Keep mother. चल इधर आ.